Alright guys, so in the second edition of this video, I wanted to talk about some of the rogue options and the decks that have basically got pushed out of the meta by Sprite and Tearlament. So let's talk about it, shall we? In an additional video, guys, we'll be talking about MORPHTRONIC FDK, DRYTRON, and TRIBRIGADE independently because, well, there's just no way to quite qualify where the hell they're going to be in the meta. As far as showing what the actual deck looks like when it's going off, you basically essentially get Baron on field as fast as possible, and then basically like Cosmo Sword Trooper or Level Leader or any other similar type of monster that can loop in and out of the graveyard, as long as you have one and then the other, and the ability to switch while in attack position and defense position to either gain life and load up that way on life points infinitely. You just declare the number of times that you want to do it, or to cannon soldier your opponent to death. Either way, it has a two-folded way to win the game, and it basically is something that you're going to have to prepare for. If you're prepared, you'll be all right. Again, it's very similar to Sword Trooper. Getting back into the decks. Guys, clearly we already kind of have seen what Mathmech circular stuff does. You've clearly seen that as you see me messing around with them right here in front of your face. It's almost like magic. You see how I did that? But guys, Mathmech circular is very, very powerful. I'm like still reading them and like in disbelief on this card. To have a one card engine suddenly drop into an archetype is a very, very powerful thing. I definitely feel like Mathmech is an extraordinarily powerful rogue option, and if Tearlament and Sprite didn't exist, then Mathmech would probably be a new meta deck, and we'd be talking about it a lot more. The ability to add the super factorial in a much easier fashion, and so much more, guys. Let's deep dive this one, shall we? Obviously, we have a combo video coming up, which is why I wanted to talk about this first. But the release of Circular, again, guys, is going to be important for many Cyburst decks. The one card efficiency of Circular by itself is going to be ridiculous. This combo video coming, remember I said it. But I also have to mention the super factorial again, the first turn ability, the setting up negates that they can almost stun the kaijus. That is the only answer for you anyway. The trap card being behind something. It's just, there's so much to talk about Mathmech, guys. Just tune into that video. Mathmech is a real rogue option right now. It's another one card engine deck. Kind of like Marin said. You see what just happened with Marin says? Mathmech's about to do that, in my opinion, but Tearlament and Sprite is so powerful that it might not happen immediately. Make sure you look out for that deck. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? So guys, I still think that ELDLICH is still going to definitely be a pain in your ass at locals. It's just life. You just got to deal with it. I don't know whose idea with the triple skill drain thing, but it's still a thing. And now like soul drain is still a card, and that's going to stop a lot of stuff. There's probably going to be a shift in what the floodgates are per se. And then obviously you have stuff like deck dev that's going to slip in and out of some of these decks. And you already know that ELDLICH can pull up branded and pull up. It's just going to pull up so much stuff that I could just talk about all of the different variants. But long story short, ELDLICH is the main variant of a whole lot of these control decks. And the ability of stuff like Dynamorphia to kind of fall into the same category. Any of those type of decks, I definitely feel like that's a very powerful rogue option for you to pick as well. Now, if we're talking about the same kind of category, we clearly got to talk about Sky Striker because, well, Sky Striker wins way out of its format. It can still win big tournaments. It's been proven over and over and over again. Now, yes, it's Mystic Mine, and Mystic Mine is still a legal card, and that's still going to be a problem. And still getting Therion mixed into it, getting DPE mixed into it. I've seen people playing DPE and Therion and playing Sky Striker and still playing hand traps, and it still kind of works somehow. I don't know how the hell that's happening, but it shows the Sky Striker has a longevity factor, and clearly being one of the greatest decks of all time is definitely a very, very powerful option. People are still going to special, aren't they? Demise of the Land is still a thing. Dark Ruler is going to be powerful in this format. Certain hand traps are going to be powerful in this format. What better deck than Sky Striker? Moving on, guys, I got to talk about Marincess. Marincess, you saw my profile last week. I hope you watched the combo video or the profile. I hope that helped somebody in some kind of way. That's the only reason I do these videos. But a lot of fun with this deck because, well, you get to set up multiple spell and trap negates with one card and then hand trap other people with the other cards. I feel like this is probably the best rogue deck because, well, there's another one. It's better than that because it's not actually rogue. It's just got power crept hard as hell. And there's a tech card that's going to kill it. But we're talking about this one. I definitely, guys, feel that Marincess is an incredible option to choose right now. If you don't want to play any of the new decks and you want to be able to pick up a slightly cheaper deck that can still go toe-to-toe with these, if you prepare right, Marincess is probably your best bet. It's slightly better than Mathmech simply because it has better defense, it has offense, defense, versatility. It just doesn't have the huge knockout punch. You don't need all that. Decks have huge knockout punches all the time, and they don't have any defense. Then you're screwed the other way. You see what I mean? So long story short, Marincess with the Aqua Argonaut, being able to protect some of your other plays, the ability to slip in certain extra deck stuff that a lot of people don't even think about, and it can be an adventure deck as well. Marincess is definitely an option that you have to select because, well, Bubble Reef, Aqua Argonaut, it's too good. Trust me. Let's move on. I think last but not least, the last two decks I wanted to talk about, guys, are Adignister and SWORDSOUL. Adignister and SWORDSOUL. Adignister for the additional another Cyburst deck. It's a one-card engine. It's almost like they want Cyburst to be that. Isn't that kind of strange? It's a little bit, but it's a pattern. See how Konami has patterns. Anyways, guys, I definitely feel that it's Adignister, while it's very, very powerful, very, very explosive, easy to go off of one card, the way that it has to work through its combos in like distinct patterns is why I didn't mention it at first. It's very, very situational sometimes, and in situations where you're going up against like this Shizu stuff that's coming, it's going to decapitate you. So it's like it's going to bump that deck to not even matter. A deck that does matter a lot and is a very powerful deck that just won a YCS and just got power crept hard as hell is SWORDSOUL, which is the last rogue deck that I wanted to talk about. And my opinion is that it is going to stay rogue just because of the Ibli thing is just devastating. And if that catches on, then all hell is going to break loose. It has a small chance, sort of, but the cards like Ultimate Slayer, Artemis Slay being a new card that like DRYTRON can use at their disposal, that is an enormous uphill climb for SWORDSOUL to have. But they still have Baxi and they still have Mystic Mind, so they still got a chance. Guys, I hope this rogue has helped you to kind of understand what the rogue breakdown should be. Hope this has helped you out in some kind of way, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. There's plenty more decks that I can mention, and I'm going to piss somebody off because I'm not going to mention the right thing. Just make sure you prepare the right hand traps, prepare for the matchups, and I'm pretty sure you can play whatever the hell you want to. But you're going to have a pain in your ass with Toronto and this play. Anywho, I'm out.